Hi everybody, welcome to a new tutorial on Shaper. So in this tutorial we're going to go through the interface and how the controls work in Shaper. So let's start. Let's click here where it says Shaper. And here's where you can create a new patch, save it, load it. You can have access to the menu and also to the about. So let's click on new patch. So we have initialized a patch now, as you can hear. So we have two oscillator, oscillator A and oscillator B, and we also have a noise generator. And as the routing diagram shows here, you have oscillator A and B and the noise generator going into the filter section. And so this is the filter section. This is the section for the oscillator A, B and the noise generator. We are now looking at the oscillator part of the synth, which is a subtracted synth. And if you click on FX, you have access to the effect section where you have free slot for free effects. Let's go back to the oscillator. In terms of waveform, now we have a sine wave, but you can have also a square. As well, you can have a triangle. As well, sawtooth. Of course, you can adjust the volume, the pan, the phase for the waveform, which of course comes handy when you have modulation. You can adjust the pitch. You can have unison up to 8 voices. Of course, nothing changes until you detune them. And also you can change the spread image as well of the unison voices. In terms of number of polyphony, if you click on the BPM here where it says 120, you can change the BPM and you can also change the maximum voice count. Now, my test suggests that 8 is better. It can go up to 16, but it does struggle with my iPad, which is a 5th generation, which is perhaps something to say about the synth itself. It could do with some better performance. Anyway, same controls apply to oscillator B. And of course, you need to increase the volume. And so exactly the same controls. And then you have a noise generator where you have the volume, you can adjust the pan and again spread the image. So let's add a bit of noise. And the spread as well. Now you can change the filter, so from low pass, high pass and band. And let's set the low pass, you can adjust the cutoff, the resonance and also the drive, which will give you also an increase in gain. Okay, one thing to note, which is good and also probably annoying, if you double click on it, it doesn't go back to the original setting for the controls, but give you access to assigning modulation. Sorry, not to assign a modulation, to assign the modulation, and also the ability to have MIDI learn for that particular control. Now, let me show you underneath here, you have two envelopes, envelope A and envelope B. Okay, you also have two LFOs. And as you can see, envelope A works as envelope B. You have your attack, decay, sustain, release. You see straight away that this is connected to your amplitude. So works fine. Now let's say that we want to use envelope B and we want to assign it to, I don't know, to the cutoff. So you click on it and hold and then you drag against the cutoff. Here's where you set the influence of that. Sometimes it gives you the option to go be positive and negative as well. And when you have done that, click done. And you can see here this blue dot which is changing to show you the effect or envelope B to the cutoff. So if you double click on it again, this is where you can remove the modulation as I explained earlier. So let's, for example, assign the LFO to the cutoff. Let's say that I want it positive and negative as well, like so. And click done. So you see a little dot going through showing you how where you are on the LFO path. You can adjust for the LFO, the frequency, and also the amount. The cool thing is that you see the changes instantly on the control itself, which really helps. Now, you can adjust it like that in terms of curvature. Okay. You can also set it to be synced to BPM. Okay. In that case, you see the frequency control changing to length. And you see at the top LFO a length which says 1 bar, 2 bar, etc. Or you can go back to BPM. You can also click grid here, and this is where you change the setting for your grid. And you can also, which becomes handy. So like so, there we go. So we go to grid. Okay, you can adjust the grid settings here, and you can also snap the grid as well. Okay, which is comes always handy. Now, in terms of effect, so you have 3 slots. You click on the slot, then you can decide between the effects you see here. So, for example, I say that we add some chorus. The controls underneath will change accordingly to the controls which relate to that particular effect. And for example, in this case, chorus, you have rate, depth, delay, and feedback. You always have a mix at the bottom and also the ability to bypass that effect. So let's say in this case we have a chorus and we want also to have a reverb. As you can see, the controls have changed for the reverb. Okay, so that is quite straightforward. In terms of the controls at the buttons, here you have a keyboard. If you click on the adjust, you can move it left and right. You can change the size, okay, if you want to. As well, you have a panic button, which comes handy if things don't sound right or you're stuck notes. You have your pitch lever here. A pitch control, you can have glissando, which is quite nice. So really nice. And then also you can expand the view of the keyboard, which is nice if you want to play. Right, okay, so that is all about Shaper and how to use the controls. It's quite straightforward, and what I find is quite a really simple interface, very effective. I like how it shows straight away the modulation on the control, so you can easily create the patches you need. I think my only reservation would be if it could be better when it comes to performance, particularly when you have 6 voices, but then again that depends on your iPad, on your device. I hope you enjoyed and found this useful. See you next time, and please remember I also have some codes to give away, which I should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, so just check in the video description to enter the competition. Thank you, bye.